Hello and welcome to episode 12 of our Timberborn Update 6 Emberpelts hard mode playthrough here in cycle 18, day 7. Got a bad tide coming in about a third of a day. What an absurd measurement that is. But yeah, we've got a lot to accomplish this episode based on your comments on the last one. And I think primarily what we should start focusing on in the very near future is expanding apple growth. Because we have a tremendous quantity of apples being consumed and not turned into other food. And, you know, plus it's always nice to just have more of everything. As you can see, we don't have a lot of juices either, and we're going to address that as well. But a very apt time for us to be discussing bad tide diversion. I know, right, when the the bad tide's about to start and just absolutely poison most of this stuff here. But crops and trees should be mostly fine. We'll see what happens. Should be okay. I'm not really worried about it. But actually, you know what? Can they? Oh, they're not going to be able to get this done any manner of quick. Most likely. Yeah, that's going to be a challenge. But we'll have them do it anyway. You know, just get it done. It'll take a little bit of time for this to become completely poisoned. But eventually, this isn't going to matter. So let's go ahead and get this sped up a little bit so we can talk about what we're going to do up here. I know they're busy working on the ladders and all that, and that's why I had them come back over here. But yes, we are eventually going to get this mine set up. I did say last episode that this is going to be a priority for this one, and it will be. But, you know, we can do multiple things at once, sometimes. It's certainly never gone wrong before. But, yeah, a couple of you suggested diversion up here. A couple of you suggested diversion in different spots. But I think for our purposes, what's going to work best is that we just build this up to a certain height, turn this into a little bit more of a reservoir, and then just divert stuff on some other exit of what we've got going on. Now, if we really want to be super efficient about it, we honestly could just do that right here. Just put in sluices here, just flip-flop, depending on how we want stuff to be set up. We would have to blast this out a little bit because this is, again, I believe a collective strength of 20, which is quite a lot. We got 20 days to think about it. I just want to make sure we do talk about and acknowledge all the different things that we would like to do, because I do very much enjoy seeing your feedback and ideas on all of that. So hopefully they can get this stuff put in pretty soon, because this is going to reach somewhere in this general area. We'll see. I'm not really that worried about it. It's not really worth getting worried about in the first place, because we're having fun playing with the beavers here. But yeah. That is something that is very much on my mind. I like the idea of having this be kind of a reservoir, especially if this is all diverted right here. Would be a perfect thing to do with that, because we don't have any other good water coming in, because it all comes off right about here. It can't... Well, currently, water can't go upstream. Who knows? Maybe the beavers live in some sort of incredibly crazy world where physics aren't real. Which, you know what? Given how these platforms work and the overhangs, maybe that's the case, but I digress. We've still got plenty of stuff to do that has nothing to do with getting pollution, irrigation, and all that stuff under more control. And that is thanks to a lot of really helpful comments about planting priorities and efficiency of crops and everything. So the consensus seems to be that we have too much corn relative to other stuff, and I don't know, I like having a lot of corn, but there is a reason I left all this blank, empty, unplanted, whatever you choose to say, is that I knew we were going to have to plant more of something. I just didn't know what it was. So based on stuff that people have commented and me taking a look at other stuff, I think it's going to be smart to plant a lot more beets, because remember, we have this refinery that can make fuel out of beets that we discussed last episode before that. So it's never too early to get started planting more beets. They only take 6 days to grow. So, you know, it's not the end of the world if we don't have that done in any degree of quickness. But I am going to go ahead and, I think, just go ahead and do this. That's a lot of beets, folks. That's a lot of beets. So it might seem like we have too much, and maybe that's true, maybe it's not. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But this is also, since we're right here, a good time to talk about what we're going to do with our apples. So, obviously, doing this doesn't remove the trees. I don't know why I expected that to work. So that's just me checking myself and not removing it, because you know I like to make myself look stupid sometimes. This land here that has this hill in the middle, we're going to remove it. So what I'm going to end up doing is just marking this entire upper level for cutting. I think there's a little bit left. Yeah, we're going to cut that down. And I'm going to have to be careful where I put this, because I kind of wanted them to, you know, plant additional trees. But we can put this guy here, and he should be able to get at most of the trees up here. But yeah, we're going to cut these down, and we're going to dynamite this, flatten it out, and then eventually get everything replanted. Once we have terraforming, I would like to raise this up a little bit and then figure out something else. But what we're going to need to do long-term, short-term for the long-term, that probably doesn't make any sense, I'm sorry, but we need to plant more apple trees. They do take 16 days to grow and then another 8 days to get apples, so 24 days, which is still slower than the maples. We waited 40 days to get the syrup from them, and our syrup stocks are climbing, which is good. But we need to find another place on the map to plant additional apple trees. Ideally, that would not be too terribly inefficient travel time-wise. And my mind immediately comes to up here, because this is kind of, I'm not going to say not useful land, but it's not really close to too much else. So I think it would be smart of us to go ahead and put down some contamination barriers. And since we do have this tapper shack here taking care of the maple syrup, I don't want to plant too much within the range of this guy. But we do have an opportunity to come over here with a forester and just have barely enough overlap to where we can plant some other trees in here and take care of all of that fun stuff. Remember that the apple trees don't need to have a building tending to them. They just have to have somebody who can gather them with a gatherer flag. And the way that this is set up here, I think is going to be really ideal for that. You might be saying, wait a second, there's no irrigation here, and you would be correct. But don't worry, because we're going to take care of that as well as part of dealing with all of this stuff. And yeah, we can't do all of it in the bad tide cycle, and we don't need to. But just so we're all on the same page, we're thinking about it. I'm saying it out loud so you guys know that I'm thinking about it, and so you can remind me if I forget. But also, you know, it's like when you're taking notes, which is something I never really did, and maybe that explains a lot. But supposedly, the people who are actually doing well in school told me that taking notes helps because it puts a physical action in association with the memory, and you can have some sort of recollection of that. Like, well, I don't need to take notes. I'm good at remembering. And then you go to take the test. You're like, well, I have no idea what this is because I didn't take notes on it. So, I don't know. Completely irrelevant tangent. I'm not really that sorry about it, though. Well, let's go ahead and make provisions for planting apple trees. I'm not going to do irrigation quite yet because I think we're going to have enough time, or I'm willing to take the gamble, let's say, that we'll have enough time at the end of this bad tide to have this properly irrigated and just plant the trees naturally without issue. So I want to get the area kind of ready to go, if at all possible. So all of that being good to go, I'm going to deprioritize this to the max. Not that we really need to, but I don't want a beaver that needs to be doing something else to be stuck in the forest. Oh, I could just actually just pause it now that it's built. I wanted it to get built. Now let's think about how we're going to handle this. Remember what I said at the top of the episode, that we want to dam this up and make sure everything's nice and clean. So I think the best way to go about that is to worry about this later, after we have diversion in place. So, easiest thing to do is going to be to just come across here and make a line of sluice gates, which we have not unlocked yet. We have the science, we have the materials, we have the technology, etc. So, I'm just going to have this be straight all the way across sluices. I know the flow probably doesn't dictate it, but I think it's cool. And we can do it, so why not? No reason not to. What's our favorite saying? There's no rule that says the dog can't play basketball. Yep, well, dog meet basketball. So we've got some birch trees here we can cut down. Not that we need to, but I'm going to go ahead and get this in place because, you know, we want to have something for the beavers to do. Take advantage of the time and the space that we are given to do the most possible good. And I'm going to go ahead also and start building sluices here. And then as we get across, I'll start detonating a bunch of other stuff. Remember that we also have an outlet up here, which is good for right now, but we do want to plug this. I do think that's smart, or at least to put sluices here that will only let good water in case we want to do a district up here at some point. Man, there's so many connected comment things that I should comment on, but I'm going to try to finish thoughts before we move on to other stuff. I know it's super, super hard. Those of you who've been watching my videos forever know exactly what I'm talking about. But before we let these guys get too far, let's just say we're going to close these. Not yet. We're gonna lock these open. We can't forget to set these, but just so nothing has any crazy flood backup or whatever, I'm just gonna lock both of these open until such a time as we can actually take care of it. We've got logs right here. Sluices, unfortunately, do not use logs or planks, so I'm gonna go ahead. Not that we really need to have a ton of these over here, but just so I can preserve the peace in my mind, and I know many of your minds as well, we'll put in a little storage for a couple of these materials so we don't have to have these guys running all over the place. That should take care of that quite nicely. Get these trees cut down. Shouldn't take too terribly long. Get these things connected. I know there's probably some sort of nonsense I could do to get these whatever, but I like straight lines. I know, shocker, right? They'll be all right. So, what I was going to say before, 20 strength to take into account the waterfall limit. What we're going to need to do is have mental math, not something I'm ever good at. Whatever 20 divided by 2.2 is, so like, I don't know, math. Please don't laugh at me for being bad at basic math, I know. It's fine. But at some point, immediately downstream of the sluices, there needs to be enough edges to take care of 20. So this, I know for sure, needs to be probably 6 wide, would be my best guess. So that is something we will continue to work on. I guess I will just do one of these numbers here and just go with it. If it's too much, then okay, cool. Doesn't really matter. If it's not enough, then I guess we'll find out. But you know how it goes. Just do one project at a time, and then start another project while the first one hasn't yet been finished, and then still say we should do one thing at a time, but then proceed not to ever do that. It's fine. Yeah, we've got a lot of corn that is remaining unharvested, so yeah, I absolutely believe we probably technically have too much, but things will be okay, I promise. Speaking of being okay, I have not actually automated this. I didn't do it because I was about to, and then I got distracted. A couple of you guys pointed that out. So we have this at 0.9 and this at 0.13. Nice and easy thing for us to take care of. Even if that's not technically the best setting, it's just what we're going to go with because it's totally fine. If I can just type this number, that would be so great. But that's fine. All right, so that's good. I know this is a suboptimal layout for the dump. It will be fixed at some point eventually, but please do remember that this is actually not that terrible. It just has a couple more angles than maybe it should, but we'll get it figured out. Okay, this needs to be unmarked for planting all of this, although I'm not really sure it matters. Okay, there we go. Is that one marked for cutting too? Good. And I think I probably... Well, I have tons of dynamite, so I guess it doesn't matter, but I do want to concentrate the dynamite construction up here as we are working on all of this fun stuff. Just let these beavers continue to do their work. Yeah, part of the reason I wanted to have the sluices here is so that I could get to this area and continue doing all the fun stuff here. So why don't we go ahead and just preemptively put a couple of these here and here just at the narrowest possible points. Nice and easy. Very clean. just get this going here. I know that's not the best looking pathing, but, you know, it's gonna be okay. Just make those absolute minimum possible priority so we can get everything else taken care of. Got a couple more trees to cut down, but they'll make it work. We'll make it work. That's what it's all about. So, those of you who were concerned about the food dipping, it is increasing again. Told you it'd be fine. We're doing just fine. We're doing okay. Obviously, these pumps aren't pumping, which is totally fine. I did want to address, at least one person left a comment saying that this was not the best choice of putting these pumps here on this side. And, yep, that is correct. However, we have liquid fuel engines, which are going to replace these water wheels once we start making fuel. Because we established last episode, the recipes for fuel are just completely overpowered. Which I don't personally mind, because it takes power generation off of the table, essentially, in terms of a hard thing to do. So I'm all about that when we're having fun with the game. So these water wheels will go away, and having this hooked up to liquid fuel engines, just in my opinion at least, is a much better way to do things. So yes, this isn't completely optimal, but it's going to be fine. Also, keep in mind, it's currently generating almost twice as much power as it needs to. So the concerns about the water being pumped out affecting that, even though this is currently a bad tide, probably not really something that matters that much. But I do want to take a look once we have the bad tide over to see how much this dips. Because currently, without any of the pumping happening, just for the record, it's 938 HP. Well, ticking between 937 and 938. We'll call it 937.5. Not that it really matters. But once this is actually clean water and these are all pumping, I'm very interested to see just how much that changes. So hopefully, I would tell you to remind me, but by the time this happens, you won't have seen the video yet, so that would be kind of a pointless thing to do. Yeah, see, look at this. Nice progress being made here. And it's really interesting to see the height difference as well, because there isn't a terrain difference here. This is all just... Well, this actually shouldn't be height difference at all, because these blocks, when they're open, are basically invisible. Like, the game treats it as there's nothing there. Huh. I wonder if it has something to do with this jagged edge here. I don't know. Something to think about for the future. Let these guys continue doing what they're doing. As a reminder, I'm not going to blow this up yet until everything is in place. And I think the edges here are going to be totally fine. That's 2.2, 4.4, 6.6, 8.8, and then, yeah, this will be plenty. Should be enough. And if it's not, then we'll fix it. But I don't anticipate it being an issue. Alright, so that's fully taken care of there. And then I forgot I can also put paths on that, but I don't think we're going to need them there. Since we're on the topic of sluices, yes, a number of you have suggested in previous videos that I replace these, or at least one of these levees in each of these areas with sluices, and yes, we are going to do that. Obviously not during a bad tide. I'm going to try my best to remember to do that during our temperate or drought period. But that's a smart idea. One, because during those periods it removes the need for a beaver to come in and dump water from the drinking supply or the irrigation supply, whatever you want to call it. And even though, you know, droughts can last 30 days, bad tides can last 30 days, obviously water is going to evaporate during that time. But during the time where it's a temperate cycle, that's going to save us a whole lot of water, save, quote-unquote. And it's something we should have done a long time ago. We just hadn't had the sluices unlocked yet. So that is definitely a good thing to be doing. And it looks like we're very, very close to having this all ready to go, which is exciting. And then at some point they're going to come up here and put these sluices in. And these I will go ahead and set to close above contamination, just period point blank. Because I want this to be clean water only. And that should be totally fine. Now, of course, if this does end up flooding, then we will come in and adjust and put all sorts of other whatever here. But I think it's probably going to be fine. Alright, so it looks like our friend here is finished, so go do something else. We have 8 vacancies, really. Okay, we're having birth and death waves again. Which would be a good time to remind you that I said in a previous episode that I was going to be building a couple of small lodges to kind of ease new population in. And I know I replied to at least 1 or 2 people saying that that was going to happen, and I haven't done it yet. So, next time we build housing, which honestly I don't think we're going to need to for a little while, the next time we do, I'm going to try my best to remember to do that. 7 days left in the bad tide, and it looks like all of these trees have been cut that the beavers can reach. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to need to start demolishing, blowing up, whatever you want to call it, these guys, which I don't think they can reach all of these, but I'm going to plant all of this dynamite anyway, because once this goes out, I'll be able to come in from this side, since it's only 1 tall, and just put in a ladder or stairs, depending on your preference, and then take care of that. But that's something they're going to take care of. Well, we won't have to worry about it. And it looks like this is all ready to go. There's no beavers in the vicinity, so how about a nice explosion, shall we? Beautiful. Absolutely wonderful. So we'll go ahead, even if we have to make it wider later, we'll go ahead and get these sluices put in place, and that should be something that we can hopefully finish before the end of the bad tide, because it would be very, very good to get all of our diversion stuff completely taken care of. Which brings up another good thing. Thank you to those of you who brought this up. This is kind of a choke point, and by kind of a choke point, I mean definitely a choke point. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to widen this. At least 1 tile here. And the reason we have to do that is because when we seal this off, all of the water is going to come through here. Every last bit of it, whereas previously, a little bit of it was coming through here, and it's a lot of flow. We decided it was about 20 CMS, which, you know, this cutting it pretty close. But the other good thing about that is, since this is going to be diverted, in theory, there's no more pollution at all. So all of these contamination barriers can go away, which is fantastic news, because that means we're going to get a little bit of planting land back. We'll be able to kind of reconfigure some of our pathing if we so choose, and getting rid of these contamination barriers means I can at least blast these 2 pieces of land out, and honestly, probably should get rid of these 6 as well. And once these trees are gone up top here, then that's not going to be an issue anymore in terms of access. So that's exciting. So look forward to that, which is going to then bring up, I know there's a whole lot of bringing up going on. All of these things can go away. All of these things can go away, and we can start making progress on damming this up to keep a nice freshwater lake ready to go. And that's cool. That's exciting stuff. And then finally, we come back to what I was saying at the very beginning of the episode about planting more apple trees right here. See, I'm trying to be better about remembering to actually accomplish things and set out to do the correct stuff at the correct time. I'm trying. I'm not going to promise and say it's going to be perfect forever, because I'm sure next episode I'll make some sort of other stupid mistake, but we're trying. We're doing our best. You can't see, but I'm pointing at the screen. I don't know why. Moving on. Can they reach this? No, they cannot. Okay. Nobody else is going to come up here, right? Oh, I guess I could have let them finish this. There we go. All right, so ring of dynamite. Look at that. Look at all this additional space for... I almost said pine trees. These are apple trees. They're apple trees. Got a lot of space for trees. And then I think they can still reach this. Yeah. So this will just be what it is. I'll put in a staircase here so we can get these last couple trees, and then that can go away. Now this I have not automated with a stream gauge, and I honestly don't know that I need to. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, they're still going to be working on this. And you know what? Let's do some science here. I'm going to possibly make a mistake, but there's currently no beavers close enough for this to be a problem. So if I close this set of sluices, it is going to back up a little bit, but will it completely overflow? I expect a little bit of surging here. So maybe... Yeah, it looks like we need more edges. So let's reopen this. All right, so it's a good thing that we did this the way we did it. So I want the, there we go. I want the beavers not to get sick. Yeah, I think it's going to be a smart idea for us to go ahead and blast another entire width here, which would make it 7. And would not be too hard once we had that taken care of. And then probably makes sense for us to have a little bit more going on this way as well. For that to be a thing, I guess probably what's going to make the most sense is for me to have this without building any other access to make sawtooth, whatever. Yeah, because that's going to be really hard. I could just put one dynamite here, and then that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 edges. Plus the width necessary to, you know, keep the height down. Maybe a little bit of overkill, but, you know, we're trying to over prepare here. Scrap metal's looking fine. We make progress on this. Okay, yeah, that's still going to take some time. That's okay. We are still working on it. But before we have this set up to be a dam, I do need to raise... Actually, hold on. Well, that was a failed sneeze. I'm leaving that in, though. I need to either build some sort of levee here or build off here. I kind of want to just build it here because then we could have some nice clean water circulating up in this way if we dam this all the way up here. And I think that would be great because that's going to green up a lot of land that we could do other stuff with. But, yeah, that's going to be added to the list of stuff to do. I know these beavers have a lot going on, but they're good at their jobs. They can handle it. We'll just get that put in place. Nice, simple solution. Don't have to be too complicated. And they are, I guess, just, you know, not wanting to go super far out to take care of all this. So that's fine. There's still plenty of stuff to do. We don't really need to be that worried about, well, pretty much anything. But yeah, I'm going to put this back in triple speed here. Oh, boy! That was an unforeseen consequence that I definitely should have foreseen. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hit pause here while we think about what we've done. Yeah, so that, friends, was the direct consequence of me pausing this and then letting all the juice out at once. So, oh, you guys are gonna love this. God. So what we've done is we've killed our maple farm because we've poisoned the water hole. Play the clip. I'm not playing the clip because Disney will copyright strike me to oblivion. But, yeah, that was not smart. How am I going to get all this out of here? Do we have any beavers actually over here? Oh, we've already infected... Oh, geez, we've already infected beavers. Hold on. I do have decon pods. I know we built like 1. However, as at least a couple of you have pointed out, in this mod they take Phoenix Essence, there we go, which I am not currently producing. Because Phoenix Essence is something that was added after I first started playing the mod, and I actually don't know where it is. And, oh, okay, Phoenix Distillery. Okay. Apple charcoal. Oh, and it, okay. Well, it needs fuel, which we're not currently producing. But we definitely could. Okay, well, we can worry about that after we solve our problem. We need to get this water out of here as fast as possible. So, sorry about you beavers who live over here. But in the name of beaver defense, we got to clear this out. And I'm just going to hit 1x speed to let this be what it's going to be. Drain it out. Oh, all my maple trees. What's the line from Macbeth? I actually don't remember. Oh boy, we got wet fur, we got unwell beavers, we got injured beavers, we got misery and suffering, poverty and despair, etc. Wow. You know... I got nothing. I got nothing. I need the meme of the British kid. I can't believe you done this or whatever it is. But I'm probably not going to remember to put it in here. Well, at least not all of them are contaminated. Only most of them. Oh, man. And this is so... Ugh. At this point, it's not even grief. It's just regret. It's just regret, friends. Well, at least we didn't kill everything. Only most things. Yeah, this is contaminated too. Okay. Okay. So contamination at this point of this thing is 16%. This obviously is 100%. This one's 72%. What's this one? 0 still? Good. One of them wasn't completely destroyed. Yeah, I'm just... I'm just gonna pause. Oh, here I go with my less than greater than signs, and all the math people can choose to levy their targeted attacks at me at this point. Pause when it's greater than 0. There we go. Unpause when it is less than. I hope this is less than or equal to. But we'll just tick that because I need this to just evaporate. I can't really do anything else about it. And I guess we'll just do the same thing. Okay. So, that was stupid. Go ahead. Just hit send on that comment now, and we'll get it all out of our systems and move on. This is why we learn things, folks. That's why we learn things. So we can hopefully not make the same mistake again later, and then definitely still do that. Okay, so we lost a lot of trees. But it's not the end of the world. It's just the end of those trees. And we need to have these replanted, but obviously we can't do that quite yet. So let's turn this into a teachable moment, and then also a hey, let's get some trees out of this moment. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do one of these numbers here. Mark them for cutting, and they will not go to waste. They will not go to waste because remember, apple trees are good for 3 logs apiece, which is not too shabby. It's just unfortunate that this has happened. Oh man. Well, this is down to 11, which is good. I am going to let it just completely evaporate, and then we'll fix it. Hopefully that process will be automated because of this, as will this, and this one wasn't contaminated, this one wasn't contaminated. We'll just move on. Hopefully, in the next 2 days they can get these sluices done, and then all of this dynamite. But now that we have 2 unwell beavers who are not yet sick, let's start putting some effort into making fuel. I know we can't really use too much of it right now, but it feels like it would be a mistake not to go ahead and start. We have the science, so we might as well. Refinery to make fuel, which we have any manner of options. I'm going to probably, at least this early on, have to do, I guess, the beets. We have some that are left over extra. This is a building that does not have to be powered. Let's keep that in mind. Oh, that almost would have worked. For right now, I'm just going to put this here. Put it on beets. Lag almost made me nervous there. Unlock the Phoenix Distillery, which also is not powered, curiously enough. This is the same icon as the fermenter from the Iron Teeth, which is why I guess I ignored it before. But since it's not powered... Oh, look at this. Well, that's right. Okay, I remember this from the thread. Hey, guess what? Oh, well, okay, I'm not going to put it there because that has to be another pod. But this actually would fit pretty nicely right here. So, Phoenix Distillery, again, produces Phoenix Essence, which is used for the decontamination pod. And if we got the mod that changes the breeding style to the Iron Teeth, then this would also produce the stuff for that. I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I might want to install that mod at some point in this playthrough, just to switch things up a little bit, and I do not want to be wrong. I do not want to be wrong. That's going to cause a whole lot of other issues. Yeah. Go ahead and detonate that. Yeah, that didn't really help irrigation range, but I think when this is 0% contamination, it might. We'll just have to wait and see. And there's a couple other ways we could have improved irrigation range. I do know that. But, you know how it goes. You know how it goes. We'll get there. One piece at a time. Alright, that should be all of those. Detonate, and then get that out of there. And then, hopefully, we can plant some more apple trees instead of killing half of our maples. Oh, they can't, of course they can't build this. I took the bridge out because someone was a little worried. Just a little bit. So we have an option now to rebuild this in the style of our choosing. Originally it was just dams because that's what I had access to. And if this whole thing is going to be dammed up later, we probably don't need to really worry about it that much. But for the sake of flow considerations, as the bad tide ends, I think it's going to be smart to just all of these be dams. If that introduces weird issues, then, well, I will own that at that point in time. But we do need to get that back in and running appropriately. All right, so now that this is mostly clean, I think I'll wait for these to get finished, and then I'm going to shut this and see how that fares. Oh, so many things to learn today. So many things to learn today. Okay, yeah, these dead trees can definitely be cut down. Just go ahead and get that out of the way. Just rip that band-aid right off. I don't think I have a lumberjack flag that can actually reach the rest of these. Yeah, we'll figure it out. So, as it stands now, this is still being poisoned by our incredible failure of judgment. 72% contamination. That's still going to take another 10, 11 days to evaporate, maybe. So, we'll have to live with our sins for quite some time. But, hopefully, yeah, those are all ready to go, and they're actually starting to do this as well, which is cool. I am kind of worried that this is going to still, you know, be a thing. So, in the interest of beaver safety, I'm going to go ahead and clear all this out, just to make that a little bit straighter. Remove a few of the pooling areas. But this is ready to go, so blast away. And I'll go ahead and put one more sluice gate here. And then I do want to send all of that delicious, clean, safe water this way at some point. Really, this is 0.72. I really hope this hasn't turned back on. Like, I don't think it will, but I kind of don't trust these automation things. Partly because I don't really understand them. Shocker, I know. But that's good to go. Let's, even though this isn't currently an issue because we have these out of here, let's go ahead and start the process of, I say reclaiming the shoreline, but that's not really how that works. Or I guess I could have just, you know, not said that, because then I wouldn't have been wrong, but that's, you know, it's fine. You know how it goes. Ah, there we go. We get a drought, a merciful drought. Just in time to not have a whole lot of... it's fine. It's fine. So now the... okay, out of triple speed. You know... Again, at the start of the episode when I said that we're gonna plant some apple trees and like, oh, I hope we get a drought so it doesn't get poisoned. Yeah, well, now the problem is the drought's going to make sure there's no water here at all, and I am going to have to actually build an irrigation station. So, oh, I love it when a plan comes together, when it actually comes together and not like this. But, yeah, I'm just, yeah. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do it. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. So, for apple trees, we're not going to need to have anything except a gatherer flag. But, you know, we have the 3x3. We might as well use it. Might as well use it. So that's going to be a thing here, where I will put in a fluid dump. Not a badwater pump. A fluid dump. And then I'll just go ahead and relocate this forester to be right here. Yeah, that's fine. And we'll do this because we're not going to need these contamination barriers anymore, so we can go ahead and rip all those right out. And even if we do need them again, no we don't, because we're getting a drought. And by that point, we'll have solved all of this mess. So since we now have clean water, if I permanently close all of these, I know this is still open. I know it's still open, don't worry. But I do want to kind of stress test this bit. I know some of it's still coming through here. But if that's not enough, then we'll know that we do have to widen this. I think it should be fine. And we'll see what happens there. This is still a thing. Is this clean? It is? Okay. Actually, yeah, we do still need to detonate this because it is going to still collect here during bad tides when it's being flushed off that way. All right, somebody come finish this because I really, really need to see if this is going to be able to handle everything. Well, they have 2.5 days, so it's probably all right. Yeah, I'm just going to do this. We're going to have a great day. Nothing bad is ever going to happen ever again. Until the next time something bad happens. But this is a good time for us to go ahead and take care of this. Because I guess I needed to kind of reconfigure this whole thing anyway. Remember, oh, I got rid of my dynamite. Well, that was a thing that happened. Get rid of these trees here. I do want to just blast this all the way across. We're going to be playing cleanup for a little bit of time, it seems. But it's okay. It's okay. Things will get better. And our food is up to 11,000, which is great. So while they're focusing on all that stuff, I did get a request that I think would be fun to change up here. Remember, we have these 3 different paths with the Emberpelts. We don't really... I don't think I've ever messed with that in this playthrough. Livestream, we talked about it a little bit. We have, of course, regular path. We have path with railings, which is basically just a permanent version of what we get here, but you can put it on the ground. And then we also have wooden paths, right like that. And then we also have decorative floors, which is something we can unlock and do with that. It does have to be built, and I'm not going to have them do that right there, but just so you see all of this stuff. And I had a comment that asked if we could have the paths with the railings in the housing area. So that is an easy request to oblige. So we'll go ahead and just do that. If you would like to see paths elsewhere with the different styles, please do feel free to ask that. But yeah, I like how that looks right in front of the doorways. I know you can't really see it too well, but it adds a little bit of style, a little bit of formality, uniformity, nice clean edges in front of where the beavers live, which is cool. And the wooden paths, I think, are going to be a great place, or a great thing to put in maybe higher traffic places or industrial places or something like that. And you can rotate these, which normally rotating a path would be just like, why are you even trying to bother? It's the same garbage. But the grain and the slats can go different ways. So we do have that option. If you can think of something somewhere you would like to see us do that, please do let me know. But yeah, we've got, oh, look at me. It's only 45 minutes. Well, I can't really only have a 45-minute episode, can I? Well, I guess I can. There's some of you that like the short lengths. But I am very... Oh, hey! That actually seems to be working just fine. All right, well, now, and briefly, because I don't want to waste too much water, let's see if the opposite works. So, okay, there's a little bit of surge. Oh, okay, that's a lot of bit of surge. But it shouldn't take too long. So this is 8 wide and this is 7 wide. Okay, yeah, it evens out. It's all right. Okay, so I'm currently satisfied with that. So let's set both of these to auto. This is going to close above contamination, 0%. This is going to close below contamination, 0%. We're just going to roll with it. Probably going to keep widening this just so, you know, there's absolutely no possible way this overflows. But for right now, this is fine. For right now, we're looking okay. Just keep that in the back of our minds that that's how this is going to work. Now, why is this still open? If I said close below contamination 0%, does it have to have a value set? It does. Okay. All right. Well, that's a good thing to know. That's a good thing to know because we have some stuff to change. If that's actually the case, I just assumed 0 was going to be a no tolerance value. So, yeah, let's just change these zeros to 1s. Turn that 0 into a 1. That's a good first step. I guess I have to check all of these now. Yeah, that could have been a very bad thing for us to accidentally forget about until all of our crops actually died. Oh, I don't even have that turned on, but I probably should, just in the incredibly unlikely event that we have to actually worry about this. Okay, so that's working out. They're building this structure of dams here. We put in... I really do like this. The little railings on the ground. It looks so formal. Like, it would be really cool if there was a... like, as part of this, if the railings would have, like, I don't know, flowers or some sort of decorative stuff behind them. It's always something that looks pretty good. Oh, actually, on that, I did get a request to put in some more well-being decoration things where the beavers live. And I think we can almost certainly do that to at least a certain extent. We do have shrubs, and we can do the super easy thing. The easiest possible thing we can do is on these platforms here, just put in our little roofing pieces. Nice and easy. And everybody gets the benefit. These guys already have that here. But now these houses can get it. And then these guys over here, too, don't really have that. But actually, these are low enough. We can do the entire proper deal here. So I like that look. Right, like so. Let's do the 2x3. Doesn't mesh, you know, perfectly. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. That's pretty snazzy. A little bit of a mid-century type design to it. So that's going to be a nice aesthetic improvement and a well-being improvement. Very, very slightly. Let's see. And I would like, I think, to put some more terraces on top of some of this stuff. I'm just not entirely sure what the future of this area is going to look like. So I don't want to commit to too much. But, you know, small things that we can do to improve our outcomes, so on and so forth, to contaminated beavers. Actually, one of these is working. Cool. So we need to go ahead and build... Forgive me for not immediately knowing where all these things are. Another decontamination pod, nice and easy here. Make that the biggest priority. And then our contaminated beavers can both relax. I suppose this also would be a good place to put a little medium tank. That's not really how that works. Storage for Phoenix Essence, because we probably should have that stockpiled, not just in this building. But look at this. This is cool. This actually employs a mixture of the textures here. This little cauldron thing appears in the folktales, or at least used to, as a... I think the herbalist or the medicine. I can't remember. I hardly ever play those guys, so I don't remember what all the buildings are called. But I do remember that appearing in there. And I'm trying to remember if the Iron Teeth used that. But I'm not sure. I love when mod makers reuse textures or create new textures inspired by the existing design language. I love that stuff. It's so cool. Really, really makes everything feel extremely professionally well done, cohesive design. It's a good time. It's a good time. So, now that we're making fuel up here, we might as well go ahead and put in an underground tank to store it. Just makes sense. Right now these, been digging. Well, now you're not digging. Now you're in the refinery. So these two beavers here, I'm sure would love nothing more than to just keep making fuel until they fill the endless abyss of 2400 storage. So we'll give them that opportunity. And, yeah, not too much else we can really, not too much else we can really do at this point, because we kind of caused a crisis and now we're solving it again. But just to recap, I'm really happy with how this has turned out. With what we did get accomplished, making some great strides here for future water security. And yes, we are going to put in dams here, and we're going to get to all of the rest of this in due time. And yes, again, we're going to plant these apple trees, man. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. I promise you we're going to do it. So I will go ahead and get those set up. Since we're already going to be working on this, I'm just gonna get rid of this forester. No, I'm not. I'm a liar. I'm not gonna get rid of this because they can still plant some of these. But I was thinking, oh man, I really need to get rid of these paths here. No. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it correctly. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best. Sometimes that's all you can do. But yeah, we'll get that hooked up. And now they can actually get stuff done. So, friends, remember how I said, oh, we're going to do a 45-minute video, and then a crisis happened, and now it's 53 minutes long? This is where we're going to end this one. I really appreciate you watching. Seriously, I really appreciate you watching these videos. This series in particular has done so amazingly well. Like, the metrics on these videos have just been beyond what I would have hoped for. And that has really, really been a great thing to see. And of course, it supports the channel as well. You watching all the videos, Beard Boosters especially, with their direct contributions, make it possible to do things like replace this computer. That blue screen when I was starting the game. Starting the game to record. Like, okay, well, that reminds me. That reminds me I need to get on that. But I did, exciting news, I did, today as of recording this video, purchase most of the parts. Again, thanks to the support of the Beard Boosters for directly contributing some of that cash that I was able to use for that. So, it's coming soon. It's coming soon. And Boosters, of course, will get access to some behind-the-scenes stuff of me putting that together. Still trying to figure out if I can do a stream for building it. I don't know if I can make it happen. But at the very least, there will be something just for the boosters, and then maybe after the fact I might open it up to everybody else. But I want to make sure I acknowledge those folks. Literally would not be possible to keep doing this stuff without the support. This machine has been fantastic for the past almost 5 years, but it's time to move on. Bigger and better things and all that. But like I said, that's all the time we have for this one. I'm not going to run this all the way to the start of the drought. We'll leave that for next time. But I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day. Stay safe, have fun. We'll be back with this series on Monday. And Apocalypse Mode, tentatively, if I can say words correctly, which doesn't seem to be a thing that's happening today, tentatively returning Apocalypse Mode on Tuesday. We'll see if I can make it happen. But I really appreciate your patience, really appreciate the support, and I really appreciate you being who you are and being here to share this time with us. Have a fantastic rest of your day. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.